In today's video, we're going to talk about what happens to a Tesla after 100,000 miles. Do you need to get a maintenance service? What do you need to do? While the electric cars were slow to get off the blocks in this regard, there are a few models now that boasts a 400-mile plus or 640-kilometer-mile range with a distinct supercharger network now getting established. The charging time for that range varies between half an hour to 1 hour depending on the manufacturer. The second point to be considered is the battery life, which tends to degrade over time. After a specific period of time, depending on the number of miles run and the number of charging cycles completed, the battery will start losing its capacity, which will affect the single charge range. Tesla Model 3 battery life after 100,000 miles. Extreme low maintenance and minimal battery degradation. Recently, a Tesla Model 3 owner, Kazi Imam, opened up about his experience after having completed 100,000 miles or 160,934 kilometers in just over 2 years. That kind of mileage comes down to an average of 137 miles or 220 kilometers per day, which is quite extensive. With that much daily running of the battery and just as much of fast charging, one would expect quite a bit of battery degradation. Despite that, Imam mentioned that he's able to log up to 305 miles or 490 kilometers on an average of 100% charge rate on his long-range variant, with Tesla having given the Model 3 long-range variants a 322-mile or 518-kilometer range. This gives Imam's car a 5% decrease in battery range after completing the 100,000-mile mark. That's not bad at all. While Mom did mention that 305 miles is an approximate figure, one needs to understand that that's just a 5% battery degradation after having used the car for an average of 137 miles daily for 2 whole years. And that's quite acceptable. The average Tesla customer will need almost 5 to 6 years to log that kind of mileage, which means lighter usage than what Imam did. This in turn means less battery degradation, with Tesla continuing to send many software updates over the year. With improvements in features such as battery preheating, the battery life will keep getting better. Battery preheating is the process of heating your battery to a temperature optimum for fast charging, which puts less load on the cells. Imam also mentioned the total cost he had to bear in this 2-year period. From maintenance to electricity cost for charging, he spent a total of $2,985 on charging his car for a total of 100,000 miles. To put this in perspective, a BMW 3 Series owner would spend over $8,000 filling up for gas for 100,000 miles, and the difference can be clearly seen. Additionally, the maintenance and servicing costs were about $1,741, which put the total cost around $4,732. The $1,741 were spent mainly on changing the air filter and the HVAC system at 36,000 miles or 58,000 kilometers, which cost him roughly $136. Then there was $410 on wiper blade changing, wheel alignment and brake bleed, which was done at 95,000 miles or 150,000 kilometers. He also had a few components changed under the Tesla warranty, like the wooden trim dashboard at 51,000 miles or 82,000 kilometers, the passenger window seal at 63,000 miles or 101,000 kilometers. The front left safety restraint fault error was fixed at 71,000 miles or 114,000 kilometers, and then the driver's headrest at 93,000 miles 150,000 kilometers. This sheds some light on Tesla's maintenance and service as well, with him having mentioned that he was loaned a temporary Tesla as well when his car was in the garage. Tesla also promotes the DIY replacement of certain components. With a much cheaper air filter for the HVAC system available on Amazon, Tesla has a tutorial on how to change it on YouTube as well. This further drives down costs. Imam did mention that he had to put down $1,200 on changing the tires at 45,000 miles, which increased the total a bit, but haven't compared the gas versus charging costs. This extra expense won't matter much. All in all, you may pay $9,000 less on buying a BMW 3 Series, but an electric vehicle, especially a Tesla, will cost you much less to maintain in the long run, a little over 1/3 the cost per 100,000 miles. With battery technology rapidly improving and talks of a 1,000,000-mile battery coming, the battery degradation will reduce even more in the future. That's definitely something that future customers need to look into when buying a car. The zero emissions and greater mobility argument might not convince some people, but lower maintenance costs will definitely sound sweeter to them. Battery degradation, which represents the loss in capacity and range over time with increasing mileage, is one of the biggest concerns of new electric vehicle buyers. We have occasionally seen some interesting data about battery degradation over the year gathered by Tesla owners, but rarely anything directly from Tesla. Recently, the automaker released its 2019 impact report, and as part of it, Tesla shared a rare chart showing energy retention. It only includes Model S and Model X vehicles up to 200,000 miles, which had been on the road for longer than the Model 3 and Y. According to the company's data, the average vehicle battery, and a Tesla should still have about 90% of its original capacity after 200,000 miles or 322,000 kilometers of usage. That's a very good result of just 10% battery capacity and range degradation 1% per 20,000 miles or 32,200 kilometers. Assuming 250 miles per full cycle just for illustrative purposes. It's also about 800 cycles with a degradation rate of 1% per 80 cycles. That's a lot, especially since typically, a car is scrapped after about 200,000 miles in the US. In Europe, it's 150,000 miles, or 241,000 kilometers. Tesla's approach is to design the pack in such a way so they could outlast the car. In other words, batteries should not be a problem. And besides the rare faulty battery, a normal user will never have to worry about replacing the pack. In the case of an electric car, this degradation in its total energy capacity means its maximum range shrinks over time. There are many factors that play into this. Some are choices by the various automakers, such as how much of the battery's total capacity to make available narrower swings in the state of charge are friendlier to longevity, and some based on the owner's behavior. For instance, the Tesla Model 3 specifies that charging above 90% shouldn't be done for daily use, only for trips. Although it doesn't explicitly say what the long-term ramifications might be for regularly going above that threshold. What would Tesla do with these old batteries? The iPhone popularized the non-removable batteries. Customers grew familiar with a gradual decline in capacity over the course of around 2 years. Apple claims its lithium-ion batteries are designed to hold 80% of their capacity after 500 charge cycles. In a July article that called for more reparable devices, the World Economic Forum claimed that smartphones accounted for about 10% of all global e-waste as cars move from refillable gas tanks to batteries. Could the auto industry be facing a similar environmental disaster? Will we see Teslas piling up in scrap heaps as owners decide the price of a new battery? Is it worth it for an old EV? Not quite. Replacing your car's battery is still a lot easier and more worthwhile than doing the same for your phone. It's also much less likely to be an issue for most drivers. That the industry Tesla helped create still has one major problem to deal with. What do you do with all those old car batteries? That's at the end of the video. Hope you like this video, plus thank you for spending some time with us, and please let us know in the comments section below about the video. A gentle reminder: subscribe to our channel for more content just like this one, and also press the bell icon to get notified about our new uploads. Hey people, you thought it was great to see this video. If you want to see which videos we have on our channel, then you can click above.